Hello and welcome back to the channel for some more Prime Cutz. This time around we've got School Spirit, a comedy from 1985. Here's our lead character, and he basically is a bit of a creep. He's supposed to be charming, but it really doesn't come off that way. So here he's basically hassling a girl to sleep with him, and then has to run off to try and find a condom. Meets a couple of his background friends, drives off frantically to the seedy local bar. Then in his rush to have his way, he's hit by a truck and goes into a coma from this surgery table where he's being completely untouched. Here we have him meeting his ghost guide, which is an uncle of his. They very rarely appear actually as ghosts. Most of the time he just seems to be a normal person. Here the film remembers that he's a ghost, and he does this weird kind of teleport, go invisible, I guess, thing, and steals this man's car. It's never explained why he can interact with everything. Here the film completely forgets he's a ghost, and he panics and hides from the dorm room matron when he's in the girls' dorm room. But then the film remembers again that he can turn himself invisible, so that we can then cut into a long shower room sequence where basically he pervs on all the female students. But he reunites with the girl that he left behind. Somehow this guy is not a young Ed Helms as pictured, and he's the uptight kid, of course. Here's a couple of our main characters' friends that we barely care about, and we have some ghostly hijinks as he makes the stuck-up kid have lots of accidents with food and his clothes. Yogurt hilarity. So far in this film, it's just our main character continuously trying to creep on this girl he's been trying to sleep with from the start. So here he is charmingly soaking her clothes so that he has to take her to his apartment, college room, it's not quite clear, to dry off and change. There is a long sequence where he's trying to basically get her undressed despite the fact that she doesn't want to. Here's his creepy uncle again. And they go off for some reason to see the principal at his house, because this guest lead girl is helping the principal set up a meeting to get a foundation grant. The college principal's daughter we meet, she turns out to be a party girl, of course, so we've got that uptight principal party girl clash. We then have a really horrid sequence where the uncle basically goes into this room and sexually assaults that sleeping girl. So his ghost superior is upset with him. This is the woman who is going to award the grant to the college. So she bonds with our lead character and the principal's daughter. They get into some hijinks as they are pulled over in this stolen car, which leads to another sequence where the film seems to forget that our main character is a ghost, because here we see him crawling around on the floor to avoid being seen. But then he remembers that he's a ghost. For some reason, this woman does find our lead character charming, so she begins to fall for him. We then have the classic wild student party is happening at the same time as the principal's important function. So the not Ed Helms guy comes to try and quiet everybody down. That goes as well as you would expect, of course, as we have our subpar animal hijinks going on. Grant lady ends up, for some reason, declaring a party at the principal's house. These two secondary characters get together, not that we really care about that. Then everybody seems to then realise that our central character is a ghost because of weird blue lights in the sky, and everybody rushes to the hospital then, because apparently there's some kind of countdown before our main character has to go to heaven or the afterlife. But in the end, he basically just decides not to, and then wakes up in his hospital bed where apparently he has been for the last few days, having learnt nothing and not changed as a character at all. He just gets everything that he wants. So there's no moral or story in this poor comedy. Is this worth watching? It's really not. It's a cash-in job and it's terrible. None of the jokes really land. It gets confused about its mechanics. It's just not worth watching at all, really. So yeah, that was School Spirit. Definitely don't recommend that one. Not a lot else to say about it. But join us again next time for Prime Cutz as we continue to see if we can find any real hidden gems in the bowels of Amazon Prime's videos library of trash. And I'll see you again soon.